If you are new to trail running and want to know how you can get faster on descents or technical terrain without risking injuring yourself, then stay tuned because I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for beginning trail runners. Welcome back, Spartans. I hope you're getting value out of these videos. If you do, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out. And go ahead and put in the comments below, what are your favorite trails that you like to run? I'm out in Idaho and we've got some pretty close by, and I absolutely love trail running. And today I'm going to give you my top 5 tips on how you can become a more proficient and safe trail runner. The number one tip that I'm going to give you is that you have to be able to look in front of you, look 5 to 10 feet ahead of where you're going to be stepping so that you can plan your steps appropriately. If you're looking down at your feet, you're not going to be able to react as fast because just as soon as you take a step, something else is going to be coming up and you won't be able to see it until your feet are practically on top of it. So number one, make sure you're looking ahead and not down at your feet. For tip number 2, and this might look a little strange, but when you're running, you want to run with your arms kind of out like this, like wings, because it allows you to balance yourself. If you're keeping in really tight, if you need to kind of adjust side to side to miss things like rocks and roots and things like that, you're just not going to be able to balance as well. So holding your arms out to help you balance can really help a lot, especially if you're going faster and on that technical sort of trail terrain. Tip number 3 is you've got to stay relaxed. If you're really stiff and rigid and anxious and worried about, about tripping and falling or, stubbing your toe, you're not going to be able to react as well. The more relaxed and loose you can stay, the quicker your reaction time, because that's what everything about trail running is, at least on descents, is being able to react to what's coming up and be able to see ahead. And if you stay loose, it will really help a lot. Tip number 4 is you're going to use shorter, quicker strides. So when you're running on flat surfaces, you get used to having a pretty similar distance between each step that you take. And so when you're going down steeper terrain on these trails, you want to take quick steps, because what you're going to have to learn how to do is vary your steps, because you might have to take longer strides to get over a rock or a root and then do a short stride so that you can miss the next one coming up with your other foot. If you're overstriding on the way down, then if you need to go even longer, there's no way you're going to reach, and it's going to be really hard to pull back. Like you don't have as much reaction zone for your foot placement. So you want to be taking quicker, shorter steps so that if you need to take a longer step, that you have the ability to do so. And then tip number 5 is using trekking poles. And this was a huge game changer for me. And if you're on flat surfaces, you don't need trekking poles, because one of the advantages they have is they can help push you up. You can use your upper body to help push you up hills. And if you're running on the roads and sidewalks, trekking poles aren't going to help with that. So this is really helpful in trails, especially if you've got steep climbs. But also when you're going down, you can use the poles in your hands and put them out in front of you to not only help brake you and slow down your descent so that you're not destroying your quads on the way down, but you can also use them as like a third and fourth leg, so that if you do catch on one foot, you've got both trekking poles that you can plant to help keep you from falling forward and rolling down the hill. And I can't tell you how many times I've been able to catch myself with trekking poles and how many accidents I've been able to avoid. So trekking poles, tip number 5, are extremely helpful. And now I've actually got a bonus, that's right, bonus tip number 6 for trail running for beginners. Instead of running straight down and really putting a lot of strain on your quads, is you can hop side to side. If you've ever seen American Ninja Warrior, they've got these platforms spaced out where they're having to hop side to side to get across. You can do something like that on trails, especially if there's a rut down the middle of the trail, like if there's water kind of running that out. You can hop side to side, and it helps kind of slow you down without putting the pressure or strain on your legs going straight down the mountain. But another thing that you can do is if it's really, really steep, is you can actually turn sideways and you can sidestep down the hill or down the steep surface until you get to the bottom. And you can turn side to side, and that way you're not putting, you can kind of share the strain between two legs, alternate between your right side first and then your left side first. And it also, you have a lot more surface area, on the side of your foot versus if you're going straight down. You've got more surface area to kind of slow yourself down. If you've ever skied before, it's kind of similar to that, where you're going to have your feet sort of parallel to the mountain so that you can use your feet to brake you on the way down. And so those are my tops 5 with a bonus 6th tip for trail running if you're just getting started. These are all aimed at helping you run safely without tripping, without stubbing your toe, losing a toenail, falling and breaking your collarbone, things like that. I absolutely love trails. There's a lot less strain on your feet, on your legs, and as long as you can stay upright, you're less prone to injury due to the impact forces. And I mean, it's just beautiful to be out in nature where these trails are at. So, get out there, find some trails. I can do a video on how to find trails in your area if you're having a hard time in the future. But in the meantime, if you've got trails, use these tips and get out, train hard, train smart, and train Spartan. We'll see you next time.